G'day everyone, welcome back. Just gonna, yeah, it says we're live. Just gonna wait a little bit. So yeah, the last stream we finished up the effects animation with this fire. I'm really happy with how this is coming along. I think I need to animate some sort of transition where he goes from being full color to that like burnt silhouette, you know? I think I'll do that first. But then next, we've got to draw an environment, and we're going to do some compositing. Don't know how far we're going to get in this stream, but that's the plan. We've got to animate this transition, background, and compositing. My little homie Sketchy is back. Thanks, Kelly. Glad you could join us. Yeah, so let's get started. First we'll start animating that transition. I think it should start from the feet up. Ooh, hang on. Okay, so really that's where I want it to start. And then on this one, the white, choose that burnt color, and I accidentally just closed the window I was drawing on. Hang on. The Jack FM, hey buddy. I must say I love your content. That's so so goated. Thank you very much. I'm glad you could join us, and I'm glad that that you enjoy my stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy with this with the style that I'm working on here. The kind of lineless look. I think it suits grease pencil well. Okay, then 2 frames later, we're just gonna take those. Whoa, what just happened? Yeah, we're gonna take these and just duplicate those back here. And I'm gonna actually just move those back as well. And it'll be on this. Anything about animation? You don't know anything about animation, but you're trying to learn. Well, make it look so easy. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I've found that there've been a couple people who I've talked to who seem to actually really enjoy learning about the process. Like even if they have no intention of like doing anything with that. No, it sounds like you do want to do more animation, but which is awesome. duplicate. Alright, there we go. That's the transition animated. Pretty happy with that. Now, one thing I was thinking of, right, is at the moment he kind of looks like a piece of charcoal, and I'm wondering if I should actually have it more like he's the light in the middle of the flame, you know? No, I don't like that as much. Yeah, I think that just looks better. You know, I've been watching the Justice League animated series, and recently the Superman animated series, because a colleague of mine has lent me the DVDs, and oh man, it just makes me want to make a little TV show, or at least like a pilot about a superhero or something like that. It just seems like so much fun. But I'm really struggling with the whole writing stories part of things, you know? Not a joke. Glad you could join us. How long do you sit in the chair? By the way, love your videos. Thanks. Yeah, I sit in the chair too long. Yeah, I recently started biking to work, which is probably good for my health. But I sit all day at my computer at work, and then I come home and I sit at my computer and I either work on my personal projects or just like watch YouTube or something. So too long. I sit in my chair too long. I love Brewston's Superman. Yeah, no, I've just been so all the stories are just so well made. And yet also it I don't know if it's just if I'm being delusional, but the way that they're written, it's so entertaining to watch, but it also just feels so approachable to make. Like there's part of me that just feels like I could do that, you know, and so I want to, but I don't know. It's probably harder than it looks, you know. Justice League was one of the best ever. Yeah, no, it was. I just recently finished it. It was incredible. Um, and what was the plan? Ah, yes, I'm gonna make a horizontal split, switch over to video sequence editor, and the other day I recorded myself saying "flame on" a couple of times. So we're just gonna choose one of those. Have I seen Mask of the Phantom? No, I haven't. Is that another like show in the same vein as Justice League or Superman? Sound. Flame on. Okay. Flame on! Tell me if you guys can hear that. Flame on! I don't think you would be able to hear that. Hang on. Desktop audio? Flame on! Oh no. Flame on! It says you should be able to hear that. on, flame on, flame on. Kind of trying to do flame like on, cartoonish sounding. Flame on, flame on, flame on, flame on, flame on, flame on. I'm gonna choose this one for now. I might change my mind later. Flame on! Okay, and then at some point I'm going to need to record myself screaming and flailing about, but that'll be another time. On. Batman the Animated Series movie. Right, yeah, no, I've seen like little clips and such of some I think of that movie online, and I really want to watch it, but I haven't got around to it yet. But my colleague who lent me the Superman DVD also lent me Batman Beyond, so I'm really excited to get into that as well. Flame on! He made that before Superman, right? Because the Batman animated series came first, right? And then the Superman, and then the Justice League. Come on! You know what I think is an underrated animated DC superhero series? Green Lantern, the animated series. That was really good. I do wonder if they should have gone 2D rather than 3D, but the story was still really well made. Right, I'm kind of procrastinating now. Here we go. What I need to do is open up BRAF, Human Torch. Oh no, where did my images go? Oh, it must not have saved. Alright. Yeah, they did in 3D, and I think it was probably a mistake to do the Green Lantern series in 3D, just because, like, I think in general, with the exception of, like, super high budget shows like Arcane or something like that, TV shows just shouldn't be in 3D, you know? It's just, it just never looks as good, because the budget can never really let you get what you need. And like obviously with shows like Superman and the Justice League, because of the limited budget, you could also see a bunch of like jankiness in the animation, but I don't know, I feel like it's a lot easier to get over that. Okay, I need Fantastic Four 2025 building. I think it's called the Baxter Building. That's a good reference. I don't think it's actually from the show, from the movie though. I haven't seen it still. I think this is the one that it looks like. It's really low res though. That's better. Okay. I'll copy image, paste it there. way confused how to make an animated intro for your gaming radio channel. Please give any tips. Yep, sure. If you like just general tips for making good animation is make your key poses first, make them really clear, make them really appealing to look at, and then think about easing. Easing is really important. Like when is the action slow? When is it fast? Yeah, and just trying not to do too many in betweens. Just make sure that the in betweens you do make are doing their job by like making the action more interesting, or showing the momentum and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's the tips I would give for making an animated intro. Also, just like practicing, do some like 5 to 10 minute little like animation exercises. Always on top. Okay. You don't think they had toon shading down for 3D back then? Yeah, the shading was probably what let it down a lot, especially with the environment art. Like the characters actually looked pretty cool. Some of the animation was a bit stiff, but yeah, I think shading is what they really needed to work on. Sketchy, what do you think of all the people that hate AI art? I think it's understandable. I'm not a huge fan of AI art just because I don't know it takes all the fun out of the process, right? But I think that once people move on from like the hype and people stop saying, oh, it's gonna replace everyone in the industry, then and all the tech bros move on to the next big thing, then I think artists are gonna look at it a bit differently and go, okay, actually, it is useful in this area. It's still not useful in that area. That sort of thing. Sketchy, do you like Samurai Jack? I've watched. I don't think I've watched all of it, but I've watched a bit of it, and it was really fun. Yeah, no, I did enjoy it. It was good. Alright, I need to add a grease pencil object called background sketch. Where is that? Oh, did I not name it background sketch? Wait. I'm gonna go to scene collection, new collection, background. That's what that right? Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna just isolate that. Start sketching. Alright. I'm gonna add a mirror modifier just for the first part. Alright. Right, now for some reason that is not centered on the camera. There we go. I'm so glad you're discovering the love of Bruce Timm's series like Batman, Superman, Beyond, Justice League, and it's inspiring to push the boundaries even more with Blend Grease Pencil. Yeah, no, I'm really loving those shows. I think in the past I was never super motivated to watch those shows, not because I thought they would be bad or anything, but because I was just so focused on like the technical side of animation and like the craft. I would see like little clips of it online, and I'd see like, oh, those in betweens are so, you know, rough and so janky, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, I don't really want to watch that. But then you actually watch it, and the writing is so good that it's like, oh, it makes all the little imperfections in the animation quite appealing to look at, because it's like almost becomes part of the style. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think I'm drawing this too high of an angle. It needs to be more like that, so that he's actually standing on something. You really want to practice the 360 cutout grease pencil method, but I need the grease pencil characters all of these to rig. Yeah, I think after the stream I'll put a reminder on my phone actually to try and sort that out. Figure out how best to host it. Maybe on like GitHub or something like that. Alarm. Set that for 2 p.m. today. Save. An hour and 14 minutes? Oh, maybe 3 p.m. Okay. You were a teenager when they first came out, so you remember them fondly. Yeah, I can imagine the nostalgia would be really, it would hit hard with those shows, because it's like when you watch something so masterfully created at a young age, it's like, oh, it never fades in your memory. I'm so confused by this roof. Is my mic too far away from my face? I can just move it a bit closer. Alright. Tried to follow the original Norman series, but I kept getting hung up on the character creation instead of the 360 rigging method. Norman series. Oh, with the like the head turn. Wait, the character. Right. Should also check out Batman the Brave and the Bold. Yeah, I should. That sounds good. Is that the one with Damian as Robin? I forget. I was more of a humorous take on Batman and the Justice League. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I should check that out. Oh, my volume's really quiet. Hang on, let me just. Is anyone else having volume problems? I can hopefully adjust it in OBS. Testing. Maybe it just needs to be even closer to my face. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's probably alright. Norman was the Hippo series character. I don't think I made a hippo. Did I? Was that... Or are you talking about something else? Does the mic have gain? Hang on. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, testing. I think that's probably better. I know you like Moho Sketchy, but it has too many weaknesses. I've yet to see anyone do a series on how to do a Superman style fight scene in Moho. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think yeah, I think it's possible. But it would just be, you'd have to approach it so differently than any other software would, and so for so few people actually do it, you know. I also think Moho's kind of advertised as like, oh, this is a great tool where you can create these super complicated rigs that you never have to like break. But if you're never breaking your rigs, you're never gonna make good animation, you know. Rigs are great to facilitate certain things, but then you need to have the flexibility to just absolutely destroy it, you know? And I think you can in Moho, it's just, it's not like advertised like that, you know? I'm gonna make a new layer here. New layer for this weird thing in the middle. Is that a fire? It is. Oh, and that's gonna be a pain to draw, but it'll be alright, it'll be okay. Should that be bigger? I feel like this whole thing should be bigger, but oh, the first 360 character with the time offset. The guy with the mustache. Was his name Norman? You probably remember better than me. Oh, but the one with the time offset modifier, that was the Rhino. His name was Raymond. Okay, and then I'm going to apply the modifier. And we can start drawing those weird little dangly parts. Yeah, it's the Raymond the Rhino. Cool. So, what was your original question about Raymond? Tried following the original Raymond series, but I kept getting hung up on the character creation instead of the 360 rigging method. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think sometimes it's okay to just spend some time on that part, but otherwise you can like create something really simple. You know, you don't have to make it look like, if you're just trying to learn the animation process or the rigging process, the character doesn't need to look good. You know, and I'll try and get those characters out so that you can try test them out and such. But just remember, if you want to test the rigging method, just do like a random squiggle, like something that looks like this, you know. Like, do turn around with that sort of character. It doesn't need to look good, and you can still make the animation feel really satisfying and such. Alright, I think that's good enough. Alright, now I kind of want to alter this a bit and make it really interesting shape design and such, you know? So I'm going to reduce the layer opacity for both of those. And then I'm going to start refining it a bit more by like doing this, you know, really skew-if shapes. Oh, oh. Okay, I think I'm gonna start. I need like a color palette. Go look up a pastel color palette. That's too pastel. Color scheme. That's kind of what I'm going for. Yeah, I might alter them a bit, but that should be good for now. Alright, let's add a new grease pencil object, call it background 001. Now, in this is kind of the orange color, so I'll do the orange color. I'll call this background orange. Set it to fill. And I might make it a little less saturated, a little more pink. Oh, no, I don't like that. I'm going back to the original. Alright, I guess we'll see what it looks like with the character effect. Let's do exactly that. And I'll just turn off onion skin. I'll also just move. Oh. I'll move the roughs back and the background back. Actually, set the 3D cursor to the camera, and then you can select the parts you want to push back. And you'll see as you look through the camera view that as you scale them from the 3D cursor, they actually don't change size in the camera view, but you're still pushing them further away, which is really helpful. Alright. Maybe you'll be a DC comic book artist one day, Sketchy. Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't think that's really what I want to do. But what would be really cool is to animate on a DC series. Like I recently heard that they're making like a. Have you heard of the TV show My Adventures with Superman? I think. Looks like a really cool show. Anyway, they're making a spin-off for Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz. And when I heard about that, I was like, okay, I need to find the animation studio. I need to apply. And so I did. So even though it was it's an animation studio in Korea, I applied. And they actually got back to me, and they clearly watched my show reel, and they seemed really nice. They didn't have any positions available, but I don't know, it was just a really nice to see that. Flame on! I think this background's too small for the character. It's okay if things get a little cropped out. Oh. But now it seems too big. What happened? Okay. You know what needs to happen? This needs to get bigger. This background part. Actually, yeah, it just needs to be bigger than I think it does. Okay, I don't like the perspective I've drawn anymore. I'm gonna try and fix it. Oh, cool. I don't need to draw those dangly bits up top because it's too far out of frame. Why is it drawing up there but not down here? Okay, here we go. That did not work, hang on. Okay. You know what I need to do? I need to set this to be a stroke material while I draw it. There we go. Okay, and now I can set it to be a fill material. Okay. Here's the thing. It's too saturated, but then I desaturated and it looks bad. Okay, let's just start with the color again. What happens if I just select this color and paste it in? Oh, I hate that. It looks so much brighter in the photo. Yeah, that's no good. Alright, that'll have to do for now. Figure it out later, exactly the colors that I want. I like how that looks, okay. do I take any help from AI? Not really for like anything visual or writing or anything like that, but sometimes I'll use it for like technical support. Like since I switched to Linux, I've been using it a lot to figure out what problems that I'm facing. That's been really helpful. Occasionally I use it to try and come up with like video ideas, but I don't think I've ever found anything that helpful from that process, so I've kind of stopped. Okay. Just gonna create. I know that you can do gradients in grease pencil, but I've never really done it before, so I'm gonna just try it for the first time. Flame on! Oh, I've adjusted the camera. That was a bad idea. Why did I do that? Flame on! For some reason I always really struggle with backgrounds. This might be just the entire stream, just because I can't figure it out, you know. What on earth is that? Okay. Flame on! What was I doing? Oh, it's the light. I need to add a mask. Yeah, cool. Gradient. Now, just as a hypothetical, this might be an absolute pain to animate, but what happens if I do this? Flame on! Might be something I can do in compositing. Flame on! You'd lighten up the background. Yeah, good idea. Though I kind of want to do that part in compositing rather than the actual drawing. Wish to learn how to animate. Glad I found this live in South Africa. It's 2 a.m. Oh, yeah. I think the best thing to do to get better at animation, get good night's sleep. But seriously though, just practicing, learning fundamental skills, lots of online tutorials for I wouldn't actually recommend my own tutorials for like just generally getting better at animation. Like think about the principles, the fundamental ideas behind animation. I need the sky in place. can't say if you just started seeing my videos. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Although sleep is important. Alright, cool. That's probably enough. Flame on! Okay, that brown is not looking good. I need it to look orange, and it just doesn't. Flame on! Flame on! Flame on! Flame on! Flame on! Flame! Flame on! You know what? I think I need to add some echo to the audio, because now that it's in this environment, it sounds really weird. But that'll be probably off stream. My neighbors have a sun umbrella, and I think it just broke in the wind. After using Toon Boom Harmony and other software, does it feel hard to use Grease Pencil? How did you switch so effortlessly? It's a good question. I don't know. It's not quite effortless. I think the trick is, though, you've got to focus on the skills underneath the software. You know, the transferable skills. You know, and you got to try and learn from each software, like trying to apply techniques that you learn in one software and apply it to the other software, and then it kind of all starts to feel similar, even if it is still very different. But also, I think the more software that you learn, especially early on in your animation career, then the easier it is for your brain to like switch between different sets of like keyboard shortcuts and that sort of thing, different workflows. Whereas if you spend like 20 years in one software, and then you start trying to add new software to your skill set, it's going to be a lot harder. You just mentioned the audio reverb, yeah, it's on the same page. Good morning, Ronaldo. Relido. Glad you could join us. Flame on! Flame on! Is the audio going to make watching the loop painful? I don't think so. In my last, I think if I just left the audio as it is now with just like one, voice line, yeah, it would be pretty awful. But I think that when I've got all the sound effects, it actually brings it to life. It makes it more engaging to watch. Thanks, Callie. Appreciate it. I hate drawing backgrounds. This is so difficult for me. Flame on! Got some layering issues at the end here. Flame on! Flame on! I'm gonna need to find like a whoosh sound, like a as he bursts into flames. Flame on! Flame on! Right, I need to draw these chairs. Oh good, I can do a radial gradient. That'll be easier. If you guys have ever seen Sophie Jantak and her videos on grease pencil, I don't know how she does it. She's like using gradients and textures all the time. It's just incredible, and I just can't do it seemingly. I don't understand how gradients work in Blender. I'm thinking there's gotta be like some sort of tool. That allows you uh-oh, yeah, I saw that coming. Oops. Wait, what happened to my gradients? Oh, it's just in render view, that's all. Okay, cool. You know what? Good enough. Let's copy those over. Surely there's a way to edit. Oh, there's a gradient tool. Oh, this is incredible. Okay, cool. This is exactly what I wanted. Whoa, what is up with that? Oh, it's because it's set to... Okay, I get it. I get it. Let's get that shading. Set that location back to 0, 0. Oh, beautiful. Wait, no, that's still weird. Why is it behaving like that? Does it just need to be 1, 1, 0, 0? No, that's still being really weird. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. Cool. I'm actually starting to like the way this is looking. Getting Hanna-Barbera vibes here. I think I know what you're talking about. That definitely rings a bell. Hanna-Barbera. I recognize it. Is that like Fairly Odd Parents? No. Just now caught this after a long day. Funny how I come here to watch someone on their long day after a long day. Ah, Flintstones, of course. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I see it. I think, I think because I'm referencing the 2025 Fantastic Four movie, and that was kind of like a retro futurism kind of style, and so was a lot of that stuff, like with the Flintstones.
Flame on!
Even though the Flintstones was the past, it had the same kind of vibes as retro futurism. Boxholes. Is it Friday where you are? Right.
Flame on!
See, for me, it's like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Oh. I don't think I'm ever gonna get used to time zones,
Flame on!
Okay, I'm starting to like where this is going.
Flame on!
I just want to set this to simplify. Set that to sample 0.01. Cool. And then smooth. Keep shape. Copy modifiers. What? Oh, I don't like that.
Flame on!
You try to put 2 hours a day in Blender learning. It's very inspiring to see you do this, in spite of the amazing amount of work it takes.
Flame on!
Wink, wink. A log conversation on 3D, 2D in Blender. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that's a great policy to put in a bit of time every day. 2 hours is a lot though, so clearly you're gonna go fast. That's awesome. All right, time to start compositing, because I'm sick of drawing the backgrounds. Okay, I'm gonna call this one base. New one called BG, and a new one called character. Right, I want to set the output of this to be 4K. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, go to compositing, new compositing. Alright. We need this to be background, character, alpha over of course I forgot to actually set the contents of each thing. So the background needs to turn off the Human Torch, turn off roughs. I'm going to put the sketch into roughs as well. Okay, so that's what the background's going to look like. Yeah, we good. And the character needs to just be the character. Oh, which means I need to turn on transparent. Alright, let's do it again. So that took how long to render? 0.98 seconds. That's pretty good considering it has to render, basically it has to render it 3 times at 4K. Alright, I kind of want to add like a little shadow, like it's all paper, you know? So I'm going to add a, actually I'm going to add blur. Yeah, actually, it is this. Perfect. In fact, I might do the same thing with the background. I go over to background. I'm going to put this one into a separate BG2. Turn that off. Create a new one called BG2. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Okay. Oh, of course the character now has that in there, so I need to turn that off. Will you enter? Okay. No, so this is the background. Actually, I don't wanna, I just wanna, it's not called a group. It's like a frame. Frame. No. Anyway, I'll just leave that over here. This is the background. Yeah. Now I need an ellipse mask. This is new. I've never seen these controls before. It's great. Okay, cool. Now I want to take this, add it to itself. Reflect? That's cool. How do I... transform? There we go, that's what I need. And then combine X, Y, Z. I'm so confused by how these new compositing nodes work. What? I don't understand. I need to flip it. Oh, that's easy enough. There we go. What? I don't understand how this works. Okay, now let's render a frame where he's on fire. It's looking pretty good. should I have a new render layer? Just the fire? I think I do. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, but it's the right thing to do. Okay. Oh, Boxels, much appreciated. Thank you. So I wasn't looking at you guys for a while there. Is Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo too? That's a good question. I'm sure Kelly will be able to answer that. Do you use geometry nodes for any effects? I can't recall if you do. Like the flame, was it mostly fully drawn? Yeah, no, it's fully drawn. I really need to learn how to use geometry nodes because it's such a powerful tool, but I haven't put any time into that. However, it's mostly hand drawn, but I do use for most of the animation here. I have a simplify modifier. Actually, I don't know if you can see this with my camera in the way. Yeah, so simplify modifier set to sample, and so that kind of puts points at regular intervals along the drawing, and then I add a noise modifier, and then I smooth it out, and then the thickness, that was just for before it was a film material. It was like a stroke, so that I could see the onion skins a bit better. So like if we turn off these modifiers, this is what it's meant to look like, and you can see how how far away each point is from each other, and then I just add a bunch of modifiers to make it the style that I want. But yeah, other than that, it's just hand drawn. However, now I need to add a new render layer called fire.
Flame on!
Okay, that's gonna be great. But I need to go through background, turn off the fire, BG2, turn off the fire, character, turn off the fire. Let's go back to the base and just render a frame again. Cool. Now let's go back to compositing, duplicate this, set it to fire. Perfect. Wait, but first I want to, oh, I did not mean to do that. I want to erode mix color. Yeah, that's what I want. Lovely. And then we're just going to take that over here. Cool. But now, of course, actually, I don't like that there. Hang on, let's combine it up here. Okay, but now I need to combine this. This actually should be a mix. A maths node. Set to add. I'll set it to clamp as well. Okay, good, good, good. All right, that's looking pretty good. So now we're going to move all of this out of the way. I'm going to start doing some color correction. Just a little more contrast. Gonna up the reds a bit. I'm gonna up the blues a bit. I can't actually tell the difference. Oh, it's because I'm missing it. Oh my goodness, okay. I went too far. Keep up the good work. We'll tune in again. Thanks for sharing your work for like this. Always learning something from you. Thanks, Boxels. I don't know if you're still here. Probably. I think I missed that message when you first sent it, so you're probably gone. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for your generosity. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, there you go, Lysias. It's Scooby-Doo too. Okay, I'm gonna do a half resolution render. Make sure that doesn't mess up any of the compositing effects. It absolutely does. Okay, I'm gonna go full resolution. We're probably gonna sit here for a while, waiting for it to render. Right, already on frame 2. Yeah. Okay, it's taking an average of 1.28 seconds. So 1.28. Does this launcher do maths? It doesn't. Okay. Did I set that up? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. 1.28 times 250. 320 over 60. 5 minutes. Although it seems to have stopped. Why does it seem to have stopped? It's not done, is it? It is done. No, it just crashed the render. What's up with this? Oh, actually, I'm not done. I want to add another glare node. Cool. It's kind of cool. So you got all these different layers, like the background layers and the fire and the character, and you combine them all together and you get boom. Really nice. All right. Have I found the new setup for rendering? Incredible, unbelievable. Yeah, no, it's done really well. I just don't know why that didn't work. I'd probably render faster if I wasn't streaming, because I'm sure OBS also uses my graphics card and RAM and CPU and all the other things that it needs to render. But it's okay if I add a little few seconds onto the render time. Oh. It's doing well. It's now starting to take 3 seconds. It's 3.3, 3.4 times 250. So it'll take 15 minutes. Ooh. Alright, that's fine. I'm glad it's only a short animation, because if it was gonna take forever, it'd be really annoying to because I'm sure that even though I'm rendering, it's probably not gonna be my last render. I'm gonna want to change something. I didn't animate the lip syncing for the character. Like it's not too bad. It's totally passable, but I would like to go back and animate him actually doing the lip sync for the dialogue. Where he goes, "Flame on." Don't know if you can hear my fans going, but it's like my computer's about to take off into space. Hey Voxels, thanks for coming back. So modifiers for the flames, interesting. The little I know is you can completely do the flame with geonodes. Blender's so big, I keep seeing how each person has their own workflow. Yeah, I think for this particular animation, because I knew it was going to be so short, and the whole point of the animation was the flames, I wanted to do it frame by frame. But I'd be really interested to look into how to do grease pencil geometry node flames, because that's basically like you're rigging effects animation, which is really hard to do. Like Moho's really good at it. Like with their latest updates, they've got some really cool tools for doing for simplifying effects animations, like with fire and such. But I'd be really interested to see how geometry nodes could play into that. how many frames all up? 250. So it's yeah, almost we're at 100 frames now. So 150 more. You know, I don't like how flashy the preview can be when you're rendering multiple render layers. I feel like I'd prefer it if you could change it to say, no, just show me each frame as it finishes compositing. Exactly, yes. I think we will see Grease Pencil will be powerful, as powerful as Moho itself, with 3D and geometry nodes. Yeah, I'm really excited about geometry nodes with Grease Pencil, because that's pretty new, right? Like, before Grease Pencil 3 was released, geometry nodes and Grease Pencil were incompatible, but now they totally are. So I'm really excited to see how people use it for that sort of thing. Blender's so robust. My does entire drone shows in Blender with maths and geometry nodes. Wow, no, that's pretty crazy. That's really cool. Not the kind of thing that I'd be particularly into, but it's so cool that that you can even do that at all. Yeah, I think that really shows the difference between Blender and Moho. Moho's like the way they develop it is clearly like they've got a particular solution that they want or workflow that they're trying to create, and then they create the tools required for that workflow. But if you try and use those tools in any other way, it's like no, it's not designed for that, you know. Whereas Blender, each tool is designed not really with a specific problem to solve in mind, but more like, oh, here's a cool system that can allow you to do 1,000 different things, you know. Yeah, you neither. But he's a maths nerd. Just wanted to replace your 2D workflow with 3D quality of life, so just focus on storytelling. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I think that's probably one thing that's holding me back is I so love the technical or like the craft of doing something a particular way that even if it's more time consuming and maybe gets in the way of the storytelling, I'm like, yeah, but it's worth it for me, you know? And so I end up not being able to tell as many stories. I think that's something I want to change this year. It's really hard though, because I don't know, it's like there's a lot of pressure to write good stories, and you just can't until you've written a bunch of bad ones. 100% with you until you had kids, and then you had to pay for those kids. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Wow, I don't know what you mean, but I can imagine what you mean. You know, I can imagine that. Hope, hopefully not too long in the future, I'll have to start thinking about that sort of thing. Go, how do I use my animation skills not just to have fun, not just to um, experiment, but to like actually support a family. That would be nice. Even if I have to give up certain things to do that. I think that's why it's so important to like really go down the direction that you want to be as strongly as you can while you have the opportunity, because eventually you're going to have responsibilities in life that require you to do the best option right now, you know? And if you've already built up all these skills in the direction that you want to be going anyway, suddenly that is the best option, you know. Enjoy the prime of your life. You're leaps ahead of most of us with your animation skills, which will translate to the future, whatever you want to do. Yeah, I think you're right. I forget that I'm still young, you know. I remember I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day, and he was talking about how everyone in my generation seems to think that they're running out of time. You know, like there's this generational mentality of going, I'm behind. I need to catch up. I'm I'm not doing as well as I should. Um, and it's just not true. You know, we've got plenty of time. But I know I definitely fall into that trap of going, I haven't done enough yet. I need to have done more. You know, with compositing, I really just kind of vibe it out. I just do things intuitively, but I should really learn how to do compositing better because it could probably save me a lot of rendering time if I know how to optimize things in the compositing review. An ancient millennial, the generation that grew up with home PCs, so we like to say we built the platform for your generation, for better or for worse. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I feel like millennials really played themselves because they ended up creating all these platforms that took all of their own time, you know. Um, oh, thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it. Your comic book artist idol is John Romit Jr. Let me just look this guy up while we're rendering. Give us something to do. American comic book artist. Let's have a look at some of that work, shall we? It's taking its time to load. No idea why. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool. Try like being 56 and still saying this. I'm Gen X, and seeing kids like you doing this stuff are the future. You have plenty of time, and you're on the right path. Yeah, thanks. I think sometimes I really need to hear that. You know, it looks like the render's done. You're doing much better than many of us. Thanks, man. Yeah. Switch the render result display to combined with composite. Yeah, so it does that when you're rendering single frames, Lysias. So you can see here, I can switch between the different render layers, or I can show composite. But when I'm like rendering the full animation, because it's like updating all the time, and it's only rendering one layer at a time, it doesn't let you do that, unfortunately, I don't think. I've got 4 generations in my chat, exactly. Yeah. Wait, do I? I've got Gen X, I've got Millennial, and I guess if you include me, I've got Gen Z. Anyway, right, let's go to this render, shall we? Oh, hang on, let's go to the render. Huh, seems to be really compressed. I'll have to do another render later that's a bit better, less lossy, as they say. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that's looking. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. Alright. I think I should open this with celluloid so it'll actually play. Oh man, celluloid's been having some issues. How about open with video player? Hopefully this will loop. Alright. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it's really coming together. I was a little worried about drawing the background, and it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Can I just set it to loop? Repeat, there we go. I forgot to set the audio encoding so it doesn't have the voiceover. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, basically we've just got sound design to do left, right? Oh my goodness, I totally forgot the little weird fire thing in the middle, like in the middle of that circle in the background. I totally forgot to draw that. I have to draw that another time. Yeah, really happy. Alright. Thank you all for joining me today. I'm really happy with the progress we've made. We've pretty much finished the animation. Which engine? I think Eevee. I just left it default, so it was just Eevee in the end. Yeah, Eevee. Thanks for sharing. Lovely rest of the day. Here's to future children, so you can go into 3D. Yeah, I think, I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day, and they were saying how it's not a good idea to do the same kind of creative work in your personal time as in your work. And so I think I've really struggled to find time to do this animation because it's so similar to what I'm doing all day, every day at work. So I might be doing 3D, more 3D anyway, just so that I can actually do more stuff, I've got more energy for it. So yeah, might not have to wait quite that long for me to do some 3D work. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you again soon.